So you love people and you want to see the gospel extend beyond your circle of influence. You want to just take things to the next level. Well, guess what? This video is for you. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Howard. I'm a filmmaker, and here we're making a couple of videos for you. Maybe you're a pastor, or you're like a media person, or you're somebody involved in your church. You're that random dude who always like lurks around by the coffee stand. These videos are for you to try and help you guys harness the power of filmmaking for the gospel. I mean, isn't that cool? So, episode number 1. How to write your script when you have zero budget to make a movie. And I put together 6 tips from my own painful experience on the subject matter to help you guys take your idea from your head onto a page and onto the big screen or small screen or micro screen in the future. Tip 1. So what's the most important thing you need to start your creative project? It's not money, it's passion. Passion is what draws people to a project. Passion is what gets people excited. Passion is what makes us believe in something. Don't fall into the trap of thinking like, when I get X amount of money, then I'm gonna make my video project. That's not true. Obviously, money is important and you do need some budget to pull off a creative project. But what often happens to us creatives is we get tricked into thinking that our hands are tied by factors outside of our control and we don't do anything. Money isn't the thing that's stopping you, it's attitude. So find a story you're passionate about, change your attitude, get out there and start creating. The first step when you want to make a film is find a story that you are passionate about. Tip number 2, tell a universal story in a specific way. A universal story is something that appeals to any human being on the planet, no matter who you are. So think of all the movies that you've loved that have actually moved you emotionally. Chances are they've dealt with a topic that moves us at a primal level. So something like love or fear or joy or some kind of content that just tugs at your heart and you're like, yeah, I relate to that. But if you just tell a universal theme and you make it the same way we've heard it a million times, that's called the cliche. So what you want to do is tell it in a specific way. For example, where is your story set? Is it set on the moon? Is it set back in the past, in the future? What is the culture that you're dealing with? Take that, wrap it around the universal idea, and you're off to a good start. Tip number 3, actually write your idea down. This is something that happens a lot, guys. Like often I've been at church and I'm like, you know, at the back, like busy having coffee, like chatting to somebody, and this person just like barges into the conversation. Howie, I'm gonna tell you about my movie idea. They'll start to like go on this monologue about this story. They're like, it's about a tadpole that gets saved and then like moves to Korea and plants a church and then it becomes a frog. And I kind of stop them and I just ask them one simple question. Have you written this down? And 90% of the people that answer me say no, because that's your first step. Creativity is like a train, but nobody wants to get on a train that goes nowhere. However, if the train just moves forward a little bit, people are going to jump on that thing. You're like, whoa, hold on, I don't know where you're going, but wait for me. In the words of Thomas Edison, he says he cares much more about execution. I think it's, okay, I forgot. That was some great quote by Thomas Edison, but I forgot about it. I forgot what it was, okay? Bottom line is this, guys. 1,000 ideas in your mind are worth less than one idea that's executed. Well, I think that was the quote. Sorted. As soon as you've written your idea down, the train of creativity starts moving forward. Tip number 4, constraints breed creativity. The fact that often people think we're limited by what we don't have. So, I can't make a film or tell a story because I don't have an expensive camera, or I don't have that cool microphone, or I don't have that great actor. I couldn't get hold of Morgan Freeman for my guard role. So I'm not gonna do anything. I wanna tell you guys the opposite is true. For me, when I'm given constraints, limitations, boundaries, my creativity comes alive within those boundaries. But if you take the boundaries completely away, it's a lot more difficult to actually get my creative juices going. For instance, if I just say to you, write me a script, your creative juices don't automatically start flowing. But if we begin to add constraints to that, it actually helps you. As an example, write me a script that is 2 minutes long, that is filmed in your kitchen, only using one man as an actor and a loaf of bread. Plus, it must be a romance. Now, your brain can actually put those raw materials together and you can end up being more creative. And before you know it, you've written a little script about a lonely man who has carved the figure of a woman out of a loaf of bread and fallen in love with it, as an example. The greatest thing that can get you creative is actually looking at what you do have and then say, how do I work with this? Tip number 5, do small well. By this I mean, take a small concept and execute it well. What I find is people have these massive ideas for video projects, which is awesome, but you never actually end up getting around to it because the idea, unfortunately, dwarfs you. It's so big, you feel paralyzed by that. So a better way of doing it is take your cool idea, because that's awesome, but choose a tiny piece of that. Like choose one scene, shoot that well, edit it well, show us that it's awesome, and we'll be way more willing to jump on the creative train with you. The last tip, to write from your own life and your own experience. You know, you may be able to put yourself into the feet of other people one day, but in the beginning, when you're choosing a couple of your first scripts to write, try and write from your own experience in life. And obviously you can still wrap it in a really cool, imaginative experience, but make sure that the emotions and the journey that your character is going on are actually real to life. And the best way to do that is to be vulnerable with who you are and your own thoughts, your own fears, your own questions, your own doubts. Put those things into a video production and you're guaranteed on the other end, when an audience member watches it, they're gonna be impacted by real, authentic emotion. So guys, in closing, I wanna leave you with a little thing that's helped me a lot. It's the question of what is in your hand. Look at Moses. Moses was like a shepherd dude, like cruising around in the wilderness, and God said, set my people free. So Moses is like, I can't do that, like I don't have anything. And God asks him a really cool question. He says, what is in your hand, Moses? And Moses is like, it's my staff. And then God says to him, throw your staff on the ground. And he smacks it down on the ground in front of Pharaoh countless times. He used it to smack down and turn the river red with blood. And finally, he parts the Red Sea with his staff, and the people run through to victory. For the whole time, Moses uses what's in his hand, and God sets the people free with that. So the question is, do you want to see God's people get set free? Well, what's in your hand? Is it a pen? Is it a laptop? Is it a great idea? What's stopping you?